Hi, this is Jacques Taylor, and you're listening to Jacques Talk. This is a podcast where I talk about the Cowboys, the team I've covered as a beat writer, columnist, TV insider, and radio host for 28 years. I'll also talk about the NFL and the things I love, working out, streaming, food, and all things Dallas. Welcome to Jacques Talk, where sports is fluid. What's true today might not be true an hour, a day, or a month from now. I'm going to give you the truth straight, no chaser. Glad to have you aboard. Let's get it. What's up? Welcome, my friends, to episode 151 of Jacques Talk. I'm Jacques Taylor, joined by my boy Big Joe and the Big Red. What's the sit prep, dog?
Let's see, we are 49 seconds in. The light is red. We are 5 by 5. Operation Jacques Talk is definitely a go.
That is music to my ears. I am recovered from a great trip to Philadelphia last week. A little work, a little play. Celebrated my dad's birthday. Had a wonderful time up there. But it's good to be back. Had time to dissect some more of the Cowboys debacle. But 51, I got a name, and I don't know if it's 51 or not. Who's your name?
Two of them, Ken Norton Jr. and Champ Dickerson.
You know what? Ken Norton Jr., I had not even thought of it. I was like, damn, who else is 51? And Champ Dickerson was my guy because he was number 44 at SMU with Dickerson and James, and he was my guy. Or maybe he was a little bit earlier. Maybe he was with Mike Ford and Arthur Whittingham.
I think he was earlier.
With Put Shope. I mean, you know.
Yeah, he was earlier.
I told y'all the story. My mom's boyfriend for 3, 4, 5 years was an assistant coach at SMU when Ryan Meyer was the head coach. So I was at all them games, and that turned me into a big SMU fan. Content Davis give me a big smile. Maybe that's some information he didn't know. And so Champ Dickerson was on those early teams, and he was a bad boy in college. I just liked him. Maybe I just liked the nickname Champ. And he had a cup of coffee, maybe 2 cups of coffee with the Cowboys. Did he do anything with the Cowboys?
Nah, he was a backup, but he played. Man, you got to look him up. I bet he played 6 years.
All right, let's give a quick look up on Champ Dickerson. Because like I said, he was one of my favorite players at SMU.
He was on the post.
Just had a cool vibe to him.
He was on the post.
Damn, Joe is almost right. He played, damn, boy, you good. He played 6 seasons. He played 5 seasons with Dallas. Mm-hmm. So he was with Dickerson and James for 1 year. Played 1980 to 1984 with Dallas. 85, he went to Buffalo. You know what, man? For a guy like me, that's a full complimentary career. Play for the Cowboys, play for the Bills, play for SMU. I'm not really sure I can ask for anything more. There's no death date, so he's still living. I take it back. He died March 21st, 2019. Now I feel sad. Champ Dickerson, let's pull one out for you, bro.
Yep, Ken Norton Jr.
Now, Ken Norton Jr., we all remember 3 consecutive Super Bowls, 2 with the Cowboys, 1 with the Niners. Had that huge hit in Super Bowl 27 that caused that fumble, I think. Had a scoop and score in that game, too. And brought that identity with the bike, with the forearm, to that Cowboys defense. What's your Ken Norton deal?
I watched Ken Norton in college when they played at UCLA, when they played Nebraska. Nebraska was housing them. And then UCLA came back in the game, and Ken Norton Jr. was a big part of that. So I just remember that. I remember watching them in college because I was a big Nebraska fan. And they came back. I think UCLA came back in that game and beat them up.
All right, real quick. Why was you a big Nebraska fan? Because you spent that time in Omaha?
I spent the time in Omaha. They had a great walk-on program. Mike Rozier, Turner Gill, Irvin Fryer. I had a triple threat poster on my wall. I actually wrote Nebraska to talk about, going to school there, and they told me about the walk-on program, so I continuously got mail from Nebraska back in the day. Everybody thought I was crazy because I wrote them. I was always outside the box, so I wrote them, told them my 40 time, and, talked about my tape, and nothing ever happened. I didn't get to walk on because I was planning on taking a year off from school, getting strong for that. My mom was like, oh, hell no, you ain't taking a year off because you'll never go to school. So I was like, all right. Yeah, I was a big Nebraska fan because Turner Gill was from Fort Worth.
That's right.
Yeah.
So that makes sense. But Champ Dickerson, Ken Norton Jr., those are your guys, number 51. And now let's move on to one of our favorite segments, Joe's favorite, hands down, I believe. 5 plays that shape the game. And what we do is, these are not always, sometimes the touchdowns involved, but a lot of times it's the play before the play, kind of like the man next to the man. And it's plays that you may have forgotten about, didn't pay a whole lot of attention to, that led to those big moments that shaped the game one way or the other. Then at the end of the year, we like to put them in a big list, 10 plays to shape the season and relive how the Cowboys got to wherever they ended up getting. But 44-19 debacle, it was interesting to go back and look at some of these plays, man, because the game, it was a weird game in the sense that the Cowboys never stopped them. So it always seemed like they was on the verge of getting blown out until they actually did get blown out. But then when you go back and look at the game, you also be like, you know what? There were some opportunities there that if they had taken advantage of them, I still think they would have lost. But it would have been a lot more competitive game or been a lot more interesting game. Instead, none of that happened.
I like the way you phrased that whole last sentence right there.
Oh,
they still would have lost, but it would have been more competitive. Because as I was putting together these highlights, I was going, nah, that's good. Oh, okay, that's good. That's like putting a tourniquet on somebody's body.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
You're going to stop the bleeding, but you're going to lose the arm anyway.
Yeah, and like I said, they showed no indication they're going to win, but it could have been a little more interesting for a little longer than it turned out. But each step along the way, they didn't make those plays, and so it turned into the ass kicking that it turned into. One of those first plays is, and it's funny to me how football works. Like, the Saints go down the field, boop, 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 touchdown. 7 plays, 80 yards, 4 minutes, 10 seconds, 7-0 lead, and you're like, damn, already I feel like there's pressure. Because you didn't show me nothing that made me think, oh, okay, they had a fluky play, they had a big play, we'll settle down. Oh, nah, that was that was like, damn, if they go 3 and out or 4 and out, they might be down 14-0 before the game even start.
I hear you. I didn't feel that way. I gave Mike Zimmer the benefit of the doubt, but you was right. Your opinion was right.
Nah, I just felt that internal pressure.
I know what you're saying, but I gave Mike the benefit of the doubt. He gonna make adjustments.
Yeah. And see, some of that is why I wasn't surprised whatsoever. Matter of fact, when it was 3rd and 3 on the Cowboys' first drive at the New Orleans 46, because I'm up there watching the game with my family. Usually I watch it alone. I told them, I said, they already in 2-down territory. I said, watch them run it on 3rd down to set up the 4th down run. And my sister's like, oh, so you do know a little bit about this game. I was like, yeah. So they went for it on 4th and 1 from the 44. And they're moving the ball, man. They hit the 35 after this defensive holding call to CeeDee Lamb. And here's, to me, when the trouble started.
They're up there again, pressing, making a challenge on all these throws.
He looked at Turpin for a screen, didn't have him. Instead, he's firing deep down the field, incomplete. There's another flag. And that's in the direction of Kool-Aid McKinstry down there. Let's see. Maybe another one on the Saints secondary. The first thing to uncover is if that ball was even catchable. I'm not sure it was.
There's only one foul on the play. Holding. Offense, number 60. 10-yard penalty. First down.
That, to me, was a big play. And again, I be talking the game like I'm doing color when I'm watching it. And I said to myself, oh, that's uncatchable. I don't think they're going to give him holding on that. And there was a little family.
MPI on it.
Well, they could have, but the ball was so far out of bounds.
No, I'm saying you said they was going to give him holding on that.
Oh, yeah. I didn't think they were going to give him anything because the ball was uncatchable.
Yeah.
Whether you thought it was PI, whether you thought it was holding. I didn't think they was getting no call because the ball was like 5 yards out of bounds. But the problem on that play was Tyler Guyton got popped for holding. Why is that a problem? Because now it's 1st and 20. Can I just be honest with y'all? Y'all done seen this offense for, at that point, 4 quarters and 1 series. I didn't see no way they was converting 1st and 20 based on what I've seen thus far, man. This got to be a team that stays ahead of the chains, that sets up manageable third downs, because thus far, and we're going to talk about it at some point during the show today, thus far, they've shown very little explosion on offense, very little big play capability. So 1st and 20 to me was kind of the sign of a death knell. What did you think?
I thought that Dak was throwing the ball away because it was as the play was constructed, he was trying to throw the quick screen to Turpin. Well, they sniffed that out because he looked at Turpin long. He looked at Turpin a long time. It's supposed to be a quick set when you throw a drop off like that. What that means is that the offensive lineman, he don't have to block that long. He just got to get between you and Dak. But when the play went long, that let number 99, that Chase Young, change direction. When the lineman changed direction, and the offensive lineman is blocking him, guess what happens? All that jersey that he got on the inside or on the outside, he had Guyton had his hands on the outside, which told you it was going to be a quick set. I'm just going to chip this guy, but it went longer, and he had to hold him. I don't have a problem with that type of play from Guyton, because I ain't going to let my quarterback get killed. I'm going to hold him take this 10 yards.
Oh, yeah, holding is part of the game. It happens. It's not the end of the world from that perspective. To me, the problem is, so this is not about Tyler Guyton to me. It's about your offense. It's just like, and so it was going to be a hard.
Well, they had figured the play call out. It was, like I said, it was just he threw it away. He threw it, but like you say, he threw it over his head, so he pretty much threw it away.
Right.
Which is a good decision by Dak. It was just bad for the offense, because usually Dak would try to force that thing, and he didn't.
Now I am going to take a quick exit ramp. The fact that Chase Young, who I thought would be a dominant NFL player after being taken with the 2nd pick in the draft in 2020 from Ohio State, the fact that he's on his 3rd team already, and the fact that he's kind of just a guy, I'm shocked. That was my very quick exit ramp. Do you have a very quick theory on why he's just a guy?
I don't know. Sometimes your motor don't. Your motor is the biggest thing. Your talent, your availability, those are two important things. But what's your motor?
Okay.
What's on the inside? How many players have you seen like a Tyrone Crawford don't have half the talent?
Yeah.
It's a different position. He's a defensive tackle. Or hell, he was a defensive line when he played everything. But his motor was high. I don't know. I don't know if Chase does. I mean, he's so gifted athletically that motor on the inside ain't doing nothing.
Yeah, maybe so. I don't know. I'm just surprised that he's not a star player.
What's the difference between him and Bruce Smith? Motor.
Okay.
You know that motor. I'm going. What's the difference between him and DeMarcus Lawrence?
All right.
You feel like DeMarcus Lawrence is getting every ounce of ability out of what God gave him. And some guys just don't. That switch don't click. That's why people done gave up on him.
All right, so we back here. It's after the penalty. The drive ends in a field goal, but this did not feel like a field goal kind of day. So let's fast forward. The Cowboys have yet to stop the Saints, and here's the problem: the Cowboys are moving the ball, but they're trading field goals for touchdowns. That's like playing in the basketball, trading 3s for 2s with the Boston Celtics. And you're like, we moving the ball, we scoring points, we getting up and down, we getting the looks that we want. Why are we down by 14? That's what it felt like.
Yeah, I had a thought on that.
What's that?
Brandon Aubrey is a weapon, but not when you trading field goals for touchdowns. Yeah. Brandon Aubrey is a weapon when you need a 2-score game. And he going to get you something.
And the good thing is, he kept some of those with them 50-yard field goals. He kept some of those from being empty possessions by having to punt or missing the field goal because you don't have a capable guy and really getting blown out quickly. But right now we're on the verge of a blowout. They ain't stopped the Saints at all. And they've been trading field goals, and it's 28-13. And the only hope right now, and I know Joe saw this, the only hope is, okay, let's score on this last possession of the first half and make it 28-20. Let's regroup at halftime, take that second half kickoff, go 70 yards for a touchdown. We'll even take a field goal. And all of a sudden it's 28-27, 28-23. Maybe we can get a stop now and apply some pressure, and somehow we can flip this game and turn it. That had to be the thought.
Yeah, you get the double.
Right,
Yeah.
you get the double.
You score before half, and then you score after half.
It's 28-13. They get the ball, 2:48 left. They moving it pretty well. They get a penalty, and so it's they're going on. And now it's time to see what can happen. And so they got the ball 1st and 10 at the Dallas 49, and then this occurred.
Prescott over the middle, and it's intercepted. It was high that time. It was picked off by Adebo. Paulson Adebo. Now looking to make a play. He's got a seam. Adebo makes the move on Prescott. Taken down at the 20.
Now I do want to say, Prescott did knock the crap out of that dude, so I give him props for that.
It was too late.
It was too late, but hey, that route was a dig route to Jalen Brooks, and he slipped just as the ball is headed his way. And that's when the announcer turns to Brady and goes, "Hey, would you be going back to him later to get his confidence?" And Brady had the same attitude I had. Hell no. Nope. You're going to have to get somebody else picked. And you had to stumble with somebody else throwing you the ball, dog, today. Because I ain't the one. Now, Dak, for what it's worth, did go back to him later because Dak is a benevolent guy who likes to spread the ball around. But I'm like Brady. He wouldn't have seen no more balls this day. And, it's not that it's his fault, but by the same token, the situation, the play, you simply cannot stumble right there. You can't get caught by the turf monster because you're moving too fast and you came out of your break and you weren't in control of all your movements. I mean, you just can't do it, man, because now the game's a wrap.
Well, there's a theory to that.
What's the theory?
If he can't make a play, don't put him out there. If he ain't, a slip is a slip.
Okay.
But if he ain't, I'm just saying, I ain't.
Now, we're not finna argue over this.
No, I ain't arguing with you. No, I'm just saying if you can't make a play, don't put him out there.
And I get that. Now the issue, but here's the thing, and I don't know that this applies to Dak. I really don't. But there's a reason why. No matter who's out there, a lot of times you end up throwing the ball to 88 and 87 because you're trusting them and your confidence is in them. And, Dak will spread the ball around. But, this one, it bit him in the ass. And they got first down at the 20. We've seen what they done to the defense all day. Did you have any doubt that they was going to score 6 or 7?
Nah.
Because I didn't.
My problem with the Cowboys and the Dak a little bit is like the first pass he threw to CD against Cleveland. What I say, they took what they wanted.
Right.
There's no way you should be able to take 88 out this game. Move him, Cooper Kupp his behind. Move him around where he gets the ball. They did a lot of that last year. And I get tired of that teams doing that to the Cowboys. I'm not throwing an important pass to Brooks.
Yes.
If I can get 88 the ball when I want to. Teams can do that. They just don't. And I understand that. We'll talk about that later on because one of the 4 plays that I like that you picked out, it had me jumping up and down. But we'll talk. I'm burying the lead, as they say.
Yes. No, that's good. That's good use of terminology there. So the Saints go in and score. Derek Carr on a 1-yard run. Then he does his Michael Jackson thing.
Oh yeah, Derek, that was cold right there. I was like, okay,
he said, hee.
I'm feeling myself. I ain't mad at you, man.
Grabbed his crotch.
You get up in there. You get up in there.
Yeah.
Derek Carr been through some things. All right, Derek Carr escaped. He escaped the Raiders, dog.
Yeah, he happy for life.
Yeah, he is, and he got a good offensive coordinator. And he having fun. You know what? Good for him. I ain't want to see him do that to the Cowboys, but good for. I like him. I do.
So that's 35-13. To me, at that point, the game is over. The Cowboys did a good job. They moved down and got a 48-yard field goal, but 35-16. Here we go again with fake hope. But the only chance you got is to come, take the third quarter kickoff, and go score a touchdown and make it 35-23. Get a stop, score a touchdown, make it 35-30, and then we could say the momentum would have switched. You could apply some pressure. Maybe the Saints will panic, and you can somehow steal a game that seems certain to lose.
Somehow.
That's the only way you can win.
Somehow. But this the type of game where I've been told by my Aunt Minnie, I'm going to the store. I'm out.
Okay,
you know
real quick. Last time I did that, man, and I did it. Content Dave will laugh when I say this. Last time I did that, because I remember specifically saying just those words. This game is over. My team is losing. Fuck it. I'm going to Redbird Mall. You know what game I'm talking about? It was the Bills' comeback against the Houston Oilers in the playoffs.
Oh, yeah.
Where they came from, I don't even remember the score. They came back from like 30-7 or something like that.
You in half the country. When it did something else, so I wouldn't feel bad about that. Yeah.
So that's the last time I remember doing
the Frank
that.
Reich game.
Frank Reich game is it? Jim Kelly out, Frank Reich they getting blown out, and then Frank Reich leads the incredible rally.
Yeah.
So we're in the third quarter. Cowboys they done had a chance to regroup and get cussed out at halftime. It's 35-16. They got the ball. They driving. It's 1st and 10 at the New Orleans 11. Your short yardage goal line guy is in the game. Maybe they'll have a chance to hand it off to him and make something happen. Here's what went down.
Third year for Tolbert, 39 yards, and now Prescott on the roll. Oh, we got pressured. He had Elliott for probably a touchdown. And Granderson's pressure messed it up just enough.
Now, dog, this was an interesting play to me. Zeke is out in the flat. If he catches the ball, it appeared to be a walk-in touchdown. He got heavy pressure. Tom Brady cut Dak no slack on that play, which I found interesting and thought, okay, Tom, that's more the kind of analysis we need to hear from you. But I thought the pressure was heavy, and that's why he couldn't get the ball where he wanted to get it. What did you think?
Number one, Tom needs to chill because Dak ain't Tom. Right? Tom would have made that play. Tom made those plays his whole career, so Dak ain't Tom.
Right.
Another thing is, how many times have you seen Dak get pressure like that to his face and make a bad throw, and it end up running back the other way? So he made the throw, but it didn't. At first it looked like a walk in, but at the last second, that's part of doing this 5-play stuff. I got to watch the play 10 times if I want. Mario Davis was over there.
He can still run.
Yeah, he had to beat Demario Davis again. I mean, it would have been 1-on-1. But right. I'm not sure he would have beat Demario. Demario can still play.
Yes.
So, when Dak gets pressure in his face, we've seen him throw interceptions to defensive ends. We've seen him do different stuff. I don't know. He didn't make the play, but I'll live with him.
Ends up 2nd and 9. Zeke goes for 2. 3rd down. Dak gets sacked. And the only beauty of it is he fumbled, and I thought Jalen Tolbert made one of the great hustle plays and came out of the end zone where he was running a route and recovered it at the New Orleans 22.
Well, you be making lemonade out of lemons, dog.
Well,
that's pretty good. I mean, it's good. No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying you seeing the bright side because I'm just like, damn.
Because I thought it was going to get scooped and ran back the other way, and it was going to be 42-13.
Yeah, I'm 100% on that. I'm 100% on you on the compliment and the hustle. It's just,
and we've seen Cam Newton not dive on the ball, and he was right there.
I'm just pissed because we getting killed, and he got a hustle because he done fumbled. You know what I'm saying? You complimenting the play. I'm pissed because it had to happen.
I ain't mad at you either way, dog.
Yeah, there you go.
And so at that point, Brandon Aubrey walks out there, struts out there, and kicks another field goal. It's 35-19. And at that point, I'm like, okay, this game is over.
It's over.
In part because they're just not going to have enough possessions to get back in it. And then just as I say that, the Saints decide to go on a 13-play march. But like much of the game, it's They moving down the field. And here's the part of it is there was a 3rd and 2 where, your former quarterback went around on the stretch play, Hill, and picked up 9. I thought for sure, I didn't see any way for him to get to the edge when that play started. But he patiently waited it out, picked up 9 yards in the first down. Then they had another 3rd down. Alvin Kamara went for 4 yards. It wasn't even that hard, man. And here's yet another 3rd down. But they had a chance because it was 2nd and 11 when Rashid tried a little end around and they finally tackled him. So now it's 3rd and 9. I'm still holding out hope, dog. If they can hold him to a field goal and it's 38-19, so you're saying there's a chance. A small chance, but you're saying there's a chance. And then, of course, given the nature of the day, here's what went down.
One of them right here. First 3rd and long of the game. Inside, look at the Taysom Hill. There's a penalty flag. Jordan Lewis was all over him. And it looked like he tripped him up. And that would be an automatic first down on a 3rd and 9.
Yeah, just hooks him with his left hand.
Defense number 2. The ball replaced that spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
I was just like, hey, man, this is Murphy's Law, baby. Whatever will go wrong, can go wrong, will go wrong.
Yeah, it's slim pickings on 5 plays, man. You understand? It's slim pickings. I mean, I love the segment and I love breaking it down, but it's just some slim. I was just thinking, dang, man.
So, that just sealed the deal because what happened, Alvin Kamara, that was a quick play because Alvin Kamara scored 7 yards on the next play, off tackle. I mean, it was ridiculous.
Everything was on the edge. It's just the what are we saying? It's the gap system.
Yep. And nobody was holding their gaps.
Well, New Orleans went outside.
Yeah.
So it's almost like y'all want to play A gap all the time? How about we gonna get outside on y'all?
Yes, sir.
And who's running outside? Nobody ran inside out for the Cowboys.
No.
Nobody set the edge for the Cowboys.
Man, I'm just gonna say this once and then I'm gonna get out. I remember going to many of the DeSoto games when my son was playing because he's a linebacker. You didn't set the edge, your ass was on the bench the next play. Now, you go back in there, but you don't set the edge, baby, they yanking you. Hard to do that at the NFL level, but that's what would have happened if they was playing for DeSoto the other day. All them jokers would have spent some time on
the linebackers don't set the edge.
No, well,
the ends got to set the edge, and the linebackers run to the play. And that's why the Cowboys defensive ends. I mean, Mike is 240, and if he playing off the line, cool. But I'm surprised that Marcus Lawrence didn't have much more of an effect on the running game. But he probably got doubled. I had to go back and look at the tape. He probably got doubled a lot.
Right.
So
it was an overall poor performance. And then as we move up, this is a play only because it speaks to the ridiculous nature of the performance. The game is over for all intents and purposes. The fat lady has drunk her tea and honey. It's just a matter of when they're going to trot her out. But the game is over. You got a lot of options of when to bring her. But again, the game is over. But the Cowboys, once again, have driven down the field. And they have found themselves in a situation where it's 4th and 4 at the New England 16. They're just going for stats now. Maybe they didn't throw a touchdown pass. Maybe Zeke will score a touchdown. Instead, here's what went down.
Definitely thinking CD if he's not doubled.
Prescott looking the other side of the field, and it's incomplete. Double coverage there on Brevin Spann-Ford, the 3rd tight end, and the Saints will take over. This has been New Orleans Day.
Brevin Spann-Ford.
Yep, 3 names and no catches.
If you have little children in the car, turn the volume down for a second. If you're a lady, you don't want to hear this, turn the volume down for a second. Fuck out of here with that, dog. Okay, I'm back to normal now. You cannot be 4th and 4, throwing to your third string, blocking tight end, unless it's like a tackle eligible play and it's designed for him. Well, that's the only way you can do it.
They lying. They said he was double covered. No, Dak stared him down because the guy in the middle was free, and then Dak stared him down, and then he jumped over there. You know what I'm saying? He followed out the inside guy followed the eyes of Dak and went over there. Then he was double covered. Dak tried to put him on it anyway. He put it on his hands, but how you can expect that guy to make a play? Just like Brooks.
Now he did. He did catch 95 passes in his 6-year college career.
Okay. I ate 3 hot dogs at Quick Trip. I ate 3 hot dog Quick Trip at one time. You know what I'm saying? What does that matter? I need you. What you doing today? And why you got him out there?
See, this is what we talking about. We all play video games. Whether you're playing Madden, whether you're playing EA College, NCAA 25. On 4th and 4, when you got to throw the ball, who is everybody throwing to? You taking your best guy, maybe you move him in the slot, you call up your pet play in short yardage, and you say, okay, is my guys, might need to call timeout, make sure I got the right guys in the right spots, because I'm either throwing to this guy or that guy. I don't care what they do. I'm not throwing to my 5th option or my 6th option. And yet, the 5th option was the guy. And Dak stared him down.
Well, here's the thing. If you wanted to get CeeDee Lamb the ball, he lined up in the left slot. Right. Didn't move. He didn't shift. He didn't move.
That would be my complaint.
He didn't do nothing. He just lined up and 2 guys jumped on him. And the middle guy was zoned. Everybody else was singled up. And it was like, and then not only did Dak didn't look that way. He tried to hit. He tried to force that thing to
tried to force it.
It hit his hands.
Yeah,
he didn't catch it. Dak put it in there, but that's the thing with you putting a guy in there that don't make a play. I bet Schoonemaker would have caught that.
Yeah.
Okay, why he ain't in now?
I don't know.
Why you got the blocking tight end? What we doing? We just and plus in a couple of those series, I think they gave up a long time ago because I saw Bass out there a couple of times. I saw a lot of guys out there. I saw
that's because Zach Martin got banged up for a minute.
Yeah, I saw 33 out there. Yeah. The defense was gassed anyway, so that's why they were subbing like that.
Right.
I just thought, why you putting guys out there that ain't gonna make a play for you?
I don't know. We'll try to find that answer.
Well, I'm not because I'm not dogging Brooks for slipping.
Right.
I'm not dogging Span for missing the ball. He should have never been put in that position in the first place. I'm not throwing to him.
Nope.
I'm not.
But then I don't know how many choices you got. So that's the problem. So we're gonna talk to Todd Archer in a little bit, and maybe he can provide some answers. But that is 5 plays that shaped the game.
Slim pickings this week. You did a good job coming up with them. It's slim pickings, dog. Because sometimes you got 5 plays that shape the game, and you selling a lot of hope today. I ain't mad at you. Making lemonade out of lemons, dog. That's just
there's a lot of times where they had a chance to make it a closer blowout.
There you go. Amen to that. Amen to that. Well put. A closer blowout, because, man, 35 point, man, y'all crazy, man. Who comes back from that?
Nobody, man.
I ain't see no solution.
That's 5 plays to shape the game, brought to you each and every Wednesday by CTC Chiropractic. Now, I've been telling y'all for a minute. I swear by the chiropractor. I really do. I was telling my sister this week because she had some pronation issues with her foot, which means her foot really goes inward. When she walks, I said, hey, the problem with that is, and what you got to watch out for is to get your body out of alignment, because now you're compensating because your feet and your legs are not operating the way they're supposed to. I said, I bet if you go see a chiropractor locally, it'll make you feel a little bit better, because he'll take some of that stress off of your body by aligning your spinal column back up right and getting everything working the way it's supposed to be working. I've been going to a chiropractor CTC for probably about 9 years now. And I ain't never felt better. And y'all know I get down in the weight room, I go hiking. My body is getting banged up for a guy who's closer to 60 than 50. And I feel great. And most of it, a lot of it is because my guys at CTC keep me straight. Ha! I like the way I said that. They keep me straight. Anyway, he's got locations in DeSoto, Trinity Groves, and Frisco, and they're running a special right now. $47 first visit. Includes an exam, your x-rays, and your first adjustment. And here's what's important about that. They just don't start working on you. They literally want to see what's wrong with you before they start. Now, real quick, the very first time I went, I didn't tell him what was bothering me. Again, this was 9 years ago, but I remember it distinctly. And he said, hey, we're finna put you in this machine, and it'll detect any interference you have in your body. And I'd be daggone if I didn't see the report and the machine was accurate. It pinpointed exactly where I was having problems, which was in my lower back on the right side. And right there was red. There was some other yellow stuff, but that was the red spot. So he went about his work, and that started was the beginning of a beautiful relationship. CTC Chiropractic, 3 locations, DeSoto, Trinity Groves, and Frisco. Go take advantage of the special, and more importantly, tell me your boy JJT sent you. Let's give my dude Todd Archer a call. He's brought to you each and every Wednesday by Smokey John's Barbecue, 1820 West Mockingbird. If you'd like to see us on Friday, we'll be out there at Smokey John's on Friday about lunchtime. Come by, say hi, talk a little Cowboys football. We should play some funeral music.
Wow.
After that game the other day.
Hello.
What's up, bro?
What's going on?
How you rolling?
Okay. Thanks for asking.
Sorry we're a little late. We got caught up talking about the 5 plays that shaped the game and made it a closer blowout than it was. This is Todd Archer, brought to you each and every Wednesday by Smokey John's Barbecue, 1820 West Mockingbird. I'm going to open up the floor to you for a moment. What were your initial reactions from that poop show the other day?
Good analysis of that description of that game. The Cowboys better figure out something when they play a Kyle Shanahan type offense, because they just have no answers for it, whether it's Dan Quinn, whether it's Mike Zimmer. And this is what they're going to see. Obviously, they play the Niners later this year. They play Atlanta. They play a bunch of teams that run similar type schemes, and they have to have answers for it. And I didn't see their defense getting trucked like this year. I thought they would have been more sound. I thought they wouldn't give up the big plays, 7-yard touchdown. And I just didn't think that would come after Zimmer taking over for Quinn, and here's where we are. That's for anybody who wants to look at the offense and say, well, that's on you, ignore those people for the end of time, because this was all about what the defense didn't do.
I love that. My boy said until the end of time. I like that. That's a good spot.
Well, I mean, seriously, if you're going to sit here and blame Dak for a fourth quarter interception to CD or an interception that Brooks slips out of his cut, or, you can say, yeah, they got to score touchdowns in the red zone. Fine. So they would have lost 44-28?
Yep.
I mean, It didn't matter. They scored touchdowns on 6 straight possessions. This was nothing. You can't sit here and blame the offense for anything on this game, in my mind.
All right. Well, let's talk about the defense in this respect. I don't know. Now, y'all know I'm a Zimmer guy. He's my guy. One of my favorite people, even though he's a curmudgeon. So I imagine Zimmer, the defensive coordinator, says, okay, I got Shaheed double-teamed on this play. How in the hell does he score a touchdown on that? And, okay, I got this defense called. I guess it would work if my guys didn't get blocked 5 yards off the ball. And my point is, I didn't look at the game and think scheme. I looked at the game and thought players. How did you look at the game?
Yeah, I mean, if you have two deep safeties, how does a guy run right down the middle of the field?
That's a great throw, but yeah.
And awesome throw. One of the best throws we've seen inside AT&T Stadium. And then the it's a max protected. Was it a 2-man route or a 1-man?
I think it was a 2-man route.
Right. So clearly it's hard for the pass rush to get there, but somehow you got to figure it out. I don't want to say just players because of the stuff that I talked about earlier with Quinn or Zimmer. None of them have been able to figure out how to stop a Shanahan offense, especially on the run game. But one thing that stood out for me, and I didn't play football, but I remember my high school buddies telling me there was one film session that they had with the coaches, and the coach said, "Now, boys, we're going to watch a defense here that is played without linebackers for the first time in our coaching career." And they just showed their linebackers getting obliterated, right? So a pretty good line. Well, I would think in that game, the Cowboys played their defense without defensive tackles because they were bad. They were all bad.
They ran a lot of off tackle stuff. They didn't run up inside a lot. They ran a lot of off tackle stuff.
Can they hold up somebody? Can they? I mean, Zimmer said Micah played one of his better games, and did DeMarcus Lawrence also absent?
Wait.
Their defense.
He played one of his better games. I think them two.
He
guys,
did what he was supposed to do in that scheme when he played the 4 tech, the 5, the 6, even the 9. But there was no cracker in place. Because some of it is the defensive tackles are getting reached, so they're not being able to push down. Look, the defense. Yeah. I'm not saying that Micah was great. I'm not saying that anybody on the defense was. Just as we said last week against Cleveland, you couldn't find a guy on defense who played a poor game. I don't know if you could find a guy on defense that played a gradable game against the Saints.
I agree 100%.
But I just know that I didn't see a defensive tackle do a thing.
Dude, that was
Kamara touchdown. That was up the middle. Yeah. One of his 4 was up the middle for sure. That was a game played without defensive tackles.
Now I love Zim again. Now here's where I took exception from my living room with Zim. I believe he said, and correct me if I'm wrong, hey, I was here when we played the Pickle Juice game in 2000 and we gave up 300 yards rushing, and I fixed that or I wouldn't be standing here today. That is true. They also gave up performances that year of 261, 203, 250, 250, 161.
And they're 31st in the league in run defense that year.
So he fixed it, but it wasn't that year, bro. He fixed it the next year. So I'm hoping that, there's no scheme you can run out there where your defensive tackles get blown off the ball or your defensive line gets blown off the ball.
They had 134 yards before contact.
I mean, that's just
out of 190.
That's just this is what I'm trying to do. You tell me what you're doing. I swore, and I did a pretty solid job, that I wasn't going to overreact to week 1. And now I'm trying my best, because I'm really trying, not to overreact to week 2. And the reason week 2 for me personally is so hard not to overreact to is they look like the team that I thought they would look like all offseason when I kept saying they look like an 8-9 team to me, which is they can't stop the run. I don't have any confidence whatsoever in their running game, whether it's because they got 2 rookie linemen or a stable of running backs I don't like as a group, and they got nothing explosive on offense outside of CD. And I'm, and that's why I thought it would. That's why I picked them 8-9, and then they added the fat guys, and I go, well, maybe they can get to 9-8 now. But fat guys didn't do anything the other day. Are you overreacting to this? Or are you trying to say, hey, it's week 2, everybody's still jockeying for position?
Everything that you said is probably how I feel as well. What did we? I think I said 10-7. You got to 9-8. I said 10-7. We weren't saying this was a Super Bowl team by any stretch, right? So this is one thing that I hate is like the Cowboys beat the Browns, and then you turn on the TV the next day, and it's are the Cowboys Super Bowl contenders? Why are we setting up these constructs that will just get knocked down as soon as week 2 or certainly by week 17 or 18 in the season? Like, just give it for what it is. It was a good win at Cleveland where they had a lot of stuff that they still have to work on. Week 2, bad loss, and still got a lot of stuff to work on. Track record recently from Mike McCarthy says they start 1-1, and they kind of get better as they go along, and they go 12-5. But I'm with you, especially about the offensive part through 2 games, and it's been spotty, and it was spotty to start the year in the red zone, and maybe even on third down a little bit. But I want to make sure I got this right, because I did say it to Schottenheimer. They have 4 pass plays of 20 yards or more. CeeDee Lamb is 2 of them. They have 3 runs in 2 games of 10 yards or more. CeeDee Lamb is 2 of them. Who scares you on that offense? And like they talk up the 10-play drives. That's great. But you better turn all of those 10-play drives into touchdowns. Yep. Because big plays is where points come from. And when you go 10-play drives and you settle for field goals, it's almost a loss.
Almost. That you brought up, you created the perfect segue for this question that Joe talked about last week. I was late to the party. I thought about it this week. Now we're going to bring it to you, see what you think. And again, I don't want to keep saying this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Brandon Cooks is one of my favorite dudes on the roster. Is he no longer a speedster? Or do they not give him opportunity for whatever reason?
We see him run by the Cowboys defense in training camp, and everybody tells us he still has speed. Like, I can picture plays from Oxnard where he was running by guys, and not dudes that aren't even on the team anymore, like guys that are still around. So, yeah, I don't understand how a guy like Cooks just gets ignored in a lot of respects.
Yep.
Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. That's what I was
saying last week. Yep.
They ignored him last year until the second half of the season for whatever reason. Right. And then, because I looked it up, he had 11 catches of 20 yards or more last year. All of them came after Halloween, which is crazy to me.
I think there's some stat like when, like, okay, I'm looking at, so he had 2 for 19 last week. Miami last year, 2 for 14, they lost. Buffalo last year, 2 for 10, they lost. At Philly, 1 for 7, they lost. At San Francisco, 1 for 7, they lost. At Arizona, 2 for 17, they lost. Like, and I'm not saying, like, I hate when people say when Zeke carries it back in the day, when the Zeke carries it 20 times, the Cowboys are 88-0. Well, then just hand it to them the first 20 plays of the game, and you're going to win. I do think. But I don't know why there's an element of he just kind of disappears from the offense. And so one more thing on like the CD and the big play and the 65-yarder. So if you take that out, that means he had, let's see, 4 for 90. That's 3 catches for 30 yards or 25 yards.
Yeah.
So that's why I was saying earlier, they don't move him around. They don't try to get it. You're not doing the Cooper Cup with him.
Well, they've done it. I mean, they've done it a lot. I was gonna say they did a lot last year,
but they're not doing it. I mean, what's going on? No motion, no nothing, no shifts, none of that.
And it's you're right. It's almost a little bit like the beginning of last year's offense when it didn't really change until that San Francisco game, right?
Yeah.
After that was when they kind of started doing some different stuff. And I think they need to somehow find those plays and run those plays.
We was counting. Remember last year we was counting his targets. I remember sitting there watching the game and telling my wife, he catches 12 balls a day, we win the game. He catches 10. He catches double digits, we win the game. I thought one thing that
was interesting. Okay, Jake Ferguson doesn't play. And I think the Cowboys had 20 snaps of 10 personnel. They didn't have a tight end on the field.
Right.
And some of that might have been the game's out of reach and you go in 2 minutes. Maybe some of that. But, like, this speaks to what they think of their tight ends, in my mind, behind Jake Ferguson.
Yeah, but Schoonmaker made a couple of good plays.
Absolutely. Why was he not playing infinitely more than an undrafted free agent from Minnesota who can't catch, who's a blocking tight end?
Right. Yeah, I just
what are we doing here? Like, fourth and 4. The game's over, right? It's 4th and 4, and Dak's throwing it to span forward.
Dude,
A, Dak, why that? But B, why is the second round pick not on the field at that situation? And if it's such a crucial play, like, so that they're either telling us what they think of Schoonmaker. No, that's just it. They're telling us what they think of Schoonmaker, even though the kid had a pretty good game. It looked like came out, he had a couple of catches on the first drive, got some first downs, and then all of a sudden it became 20-something snaps of span forward that I didn't really understand.
No, I think you're exactly right because he looked like a fluid, good tight end out there.
He had that
one-handed little catch.
He got hands now.
The other one was good. Matter of fact, I was like, oh, okay, maybe that's why they drafted him. Back to Brandon Cooks. He's making $8 million this year, which in a world where receivers make $35 million is not a big number. But considering that you got him to be a playmaker, and he's your number 2 receiver, he's got to give you something. But you got to give him chances to give you something because this offense is currently constructed. Dude, they're not going to score many points like this. They're going to have to video game CD, and they're going to have to take some deep shots with Cooks to loosen things up.
He ran a drag route where he got the crap knocked out of him, and I'm going, man, what you doing?
I'm not going to sit there and play Johnny football on you, but obviously they've put all their attention on CD, right? There seemed to be a guy in the middle of the field for when he was in the slot, take some stuff away, and blah, 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 blah. All right, so did they double Brandon Cooks the entire time? Because they didn't think – I mean, there was a lot of check down. There was a lot of shell coverage where Dak had to be patient, especially when the lead is what it is for the Saints. They're like, we're just going to play coverage and let you dink and dunk. We don't really care. So maybe that – but again, there's got to be like a smoke, a stick route, something to get the dude the ball, either just stationary or – a slant, get him on the run, because he can still run.
You sound like Johnny Football to me.
Well, I was talking more on the coverage stuff.
A
couple more defensive questions. What happened to Overshown? Meaning he played 44 snaps week 1, played pretty well.
The simple answer is what they said. They were in base defense a lot more than in the nickel, and he's not a base defense guy at this point. He missed time. Obviously, missed last season. He missed time in training camp with a hip deal as well. Wasn't around for the spring as he's rehabbing his knee. I hear all that.
Ain't the 4th round pick in the base defense?
Well, he's been around. You talking about Damone Clark or Leofau?
Leofau.
He's a 3rd round pick, same as Overshown.
Okay. All right.
So, and honestly, let's look at the 18 snaps that Overshown played and show me why he should have been on the field more against the Saints too.
Well, it sounds to me like he don't really know the defense because when you got speed like that, it's paralysis by analysis. If you still thinking about what you got to do, you ain't effective. Leofau he don't think. He flies to the ball. It's like he's reckless. He don't care. So something's gonna happen. If you're not trying to analyze what's going on, and you just, what I'm saying, if your last step is I'm gonna hit something anyway, I'm gonna do something instead of nothing. And some guys have that analysis by paralysis.
But I always wonder though, like, if you're in the sub packages, isn't there more things you have to know in a sub package than first and second down when it's and you think it's gonna be a run? So I guess I'll put some of it just time on task, and he's not been, he's still coming back from this thing. But, yeah, the easy thing is say, oh, he was great against Cleveland, and he didn't play in this one.
Cleveland offense sucked.
Right. Maybe that's what we need to say. And, again, what did he do in those 18 snaps? I can picture a run in my head where the guard got on him and just bolted him back in I think it was might have been one of Kamara's touchdowns, it might have been one of his touchdown runs. But again, that's where we go. Any linebacker, when they got what do we want to say Overshown is? How much do we think he weighs?
Leo
legitimately weighs 230.
About 230.
Okay.
They list him at 230, so that means he's about 220. If we're being honest, right? So, how any of those guys are going to have to block a guard? What's he going to do?
Okay, yeah.
Like this ain't 255-pound Brady James trying to do something against them.
We don't have linebackers
you know what I mean?
like that no more.
And linebackers like that don't exist in the NFL anymore. Like it's just a different game. So I'm not saying I'm saying they need to play. Yes, Overshown should play more. But I'm also saying him not playing much against the Saints had nothing to do with them running for 190 yards.
Did you just say that Joe couldn't play in today's NFL? Because he was a downhill middle linebacker, man.
I was 220, 235, 230 pounds.
Okay, so you couldn't play in today's NFL.
No, I couldn't.
Show me all the Jeremiah Trotters and Levon Kirklands that are playing in the NFL now.
No, I was more of a thumper, a good tackler, but a thumper. But no, I think Overshown. I always compare Overshown to Fred Ward in San Francisco, and him and Greenlaw are 230-pound guys. And even though San Francisco is not that big, the technique, the guys that they use, they do hold up. They don't ever get hit by the guard. Those guys are free to run. You know what I'm saying? So even though they don't have a bunch of big guys in there, they got 300 pounds, 290-pound guys in the inside. It's really the scheme. And if you watch Fred Ward play and Greenlaw play, them guys are free to run to the ball. Nobody touches them. And that's to your point, Todd, is that 100 and some yards to contact?
Yeah.
It might
134
not be,
before contact.
It might not be the personnel. It might be the scheme. Because the theory is that if you got big guys in the middle, they're going to protect the linebackers. But what are you asking them to do? Because San Francisco don't have big guys. They got 300. I think their biggest guy is 305, Hargrave or something. But that's a pretty good damn defense they got out there.
Yeah. Before we get out of here, Todd, I will ask you, Baltimore plays a physical style. They like to run the ball. How do you see this matchup off the top of your head?
I mean, yeah, you know you're going to see Derrick Henry a bunch. You know you're going to see Lamar run around and try and make some plays. And this is probably where Overshown might have a big week because he can – I'm not going to say he's going to buy Lamar Jackson stride for stride because I don't know if there's anybody in the league can, right? But that has to be part of the element that they'll have this week. 0-2 Ravens coming off an AFC title game. You know, you go on the desperate team factor. They would seem to be pretty desperate coming into this one. Now the Cowboys should as well after what happened to them in week 2. And this falls into, we talked about it before the season started, that there were, and certainly we didn't foresee what happened in week 2, but we talked there were like 5 or 6 games that the Cowboys had to, that defined their season and where they were going to go and what kind of team they were going to be. This is now clearly one of them because you lost last week to the Saints, a team that when the schedule came out, everybody's putting the W next to it, right? So now you got to find a game where everybody put the L next to it. And I'm not saying this is that game. Maybe it would be for some people. But you got to turn that L that you had in May when the schedule came out. Now you got to find a W. And, you know, this is going to be a tough one. And I think you saw Derrick Henry come on in the second half against the Raiders. If I'm remembering my numbers from when I saw first half, second half. But to me, the difference for the Ravens is their defense. And I looked this up. They're like last in the league in run defense or something through 2 games.
Shocking.
Well, they let Patrick Queen go. They had 2 of the fastest inside linebackers in the league. They let Queen go to the Steelers.
And they have a new coordinator taking over, so there's maybe some growing pains there.
Yep.
So if you're the Cowboys and you're at home and you better match. McCarthy talked about they beat us to the first punch, the Saints. The Cowboys better not let the Ravens throw the first punch because we know what's going to happen.
I think it's going to be a dynamite game because both teams got something to prove. You know what I mean? Both teams, with the Ravens being winless and Dallas getting embarrassed, you should get a good effort from the Cowboys. We know you're going to get a desperate effort from the Ravens because 0-3 is a big problem just from a numbers standpoint. So it should be a rock'em sock'em game. I promise. Last question before we let you go. Your question incited Spicy Dak last week, man. Were you a little surprised?
When?
After the game.
After the game?
When you said something about were you guys riding a little too high after the win over Cleveland?
Oh.
I thought you got Spicy Dak.
Yeah. I mean, he was basically saying that's why it's, I told you last week that we left meat on the bone. He wasn't riding high, and I get all that stuff, but certainly coming off a 16-point road win, you got to be feeling pretty good about yourselves. And then you just come out and you lay the egg you did, but yeah, I guess, I don't know. He was good. At least I identified which organization that I work for correctly.
Shots fired again. Shots fired.
Yeah, Spicy Todd, don't sleep on him, man.
Shots fired.
Spicy Todd always got to bomb the lob at you when you're not looking.
Low key.
I know this is the last question, so that's why I was able to say it.
All right, man. I appreciate you.
All
That's
right.
Todd Archer, one of my favorite people. Talk to you. I'll see you out at the start this week, bro. All right,
sounds good. See ya.
ciao. So Todd Archer brought to you each and every Wednesday by Smokey John's Barbecue, home of the Jam Session Bowl, 1820 West Mockingbird. Let me tell y'all something. Get some Smokey John's in your life this week. You can thank me later, but get some in your life this week. Everything at Smokey John's is fantastic. Usually I go for the Jam Session Bowl. It was named after our old podcast, Jam Session, and it is fantastic. Now, it's on the secret menu. So if you don't know about it, you don't know. It's one of those if you know things. But you got to get some in your life. I'm going to make content. Dave, try some this week. I don't care what his eating plan is. Now, you don't have to eat the whole thing, dog. You just take a little sampler plate. That's good. But you're going to try some of the Jam Session Bowl this week. It's a mac and cheese. You know what? Never mind. I was like, we'll just get both of them. You can sample them both. It's a mac and cheese, mashed potato base. Your choice. 2 out of 5 smoked meats. And then all that stuff they put on a loaded baked potato, bacon bits, butter, cheese, sour cream, all that stuff, man. And then they drench it with sauce or they drizzle it with sauce. That choice is yours. It is food to live for. That's right. You got to have it in your life. Now, check this out. If you need it in your life and you can't get there, you can go to SmokeyJohns.com, hit on the Marketplace app. And if you don't want a t-shirt, hey, you can get the sauce of the rub sent to the crib, be there in a couple days. You can also go to HEBs in your community, and they got them everywhere these days, man. Burleson, Waxahachie, McKinney, Frisco, Allen, everywhere. Mansfield, like I said, they got HEBs everywhere these days. They're on the shelves at HEB. The sauce and the rub, that's the rub right there. It's fantastic. And then, obviously, you can, what's the other way to get it, Doc? You go to Joe V Smart Shop, Duncanville, you get the sauce, the rub, and you can get the banana pudding. Boom. All in one spot. 67 in Wheatland, over in the Duncanville area. There's no good excuse, none, not to have Smokey John's in your life. And don't forget the State Fair is coming up. They always got some contest entries in the State Fair cooking contest. We'll talk about that Thursday and tell you what those are. Because they got some, I don't want to mess it up. They got some kind of chicken wings, sweet potatoes, something dessert kind of eat thing that's delicious looking. Because I haven't sampled it. But I remember a few years ago they had like a wing with some sunglasses on, man, and an umbrella. It was funny as hell, but it tasted great. So we'll talk about that more on Thursday. But Smokey John's Barbecue, get some in your life. It's fantastic. It is food to live for. It is what? Love in your mouth.
Yep. That's why. Never mind.
Just so you know,
Yeah, no.
this is Wednesday. We'll be out there on Friday. We're doing some work out there, so come by, talk a little Cowboys, say hi to the mystery man. Conte Dave will be out there. My dude will be out there. We'll be, and we won't be out there all day, but we'll be out there long enough to talk a little bit of Cowboys, take some pictures, doing some work for Smokey John's Barbecue. So we'll be out there. Come say hi to your boys on Friday. Anyway, let's move on. We're running late, thanks to the good time we've been having. Okay, check this out. I promise y'all, and I don't promise a lot of things, that we will talk number one Texans on Thursday, as well as what's going on with prime time in Colorado, because they got a lot of moving parts out there.
Yeah, we got to talk Arch Manning.
Well, he's part of the Texas conversation.
Well, they was talking about he ran 27 miles an hour. Boy, he don't run like no Tyreek Hill. Yeah.
Joe claims faulty data.
Y'all need to calibrate that doggone radar.
I like that. That man said calibrate the radar because you lying.
He ain't running fast as Tyreek Hill.
Now that said, he was picking him up, putting him down.
Okay, I was thoroughly impressed.
Now Arch looked great.
He ain't Vince Young though.
No. I mean, Vince Young's one of the all-time greats. Maybe we can have another discussion when his career is over, but we can't have that discussion now.
Roger.
But they are playing the Ohio State University in the shoe next August 30th, I think. I'm going to find a way to be there. My son will be in school there. And so we already talking about an epic father and son weekend. Matter of fact, I might, God willing, I might make my dad come to that game too.
You going to make him?
Well, you know what I mean. Hey, Dad, the game is coming. Let's go. Meet you up there. No excuses. You got a year to plan for it, so we ain't trying to hear nothing. That's how I had to talk to your parents sometime, man. But anyway, let's get around the block. There's a couple of interesting tidbits out there. And at the top of the list, man, I'm just asking, bro. Tito Jackson of the famed Jackson 5, Michael Jackson's brother, died the other day, 1 month shy of his 71st birthday. And I gotta tell y'all, that don't seem so old to me these days. Did you have a little sadness, a little tinge of sadness with Tito's death?
What kind of question is that?
Well,
If I say yeah, it's kind of disingenuous. If I say no, it's like I'm heartless. So no, I didn't have no reaction.
I wouldn't say it was heartless.
I didn't have no reaction.
And it's really built around the Jackson 5, and and so I viewed it like, I don't think anybody wakes up in the morning and think about, Tito Jackson. It's just like, it's like when a member of the Beatles dies. You're like, it's another link off the tree. That's all, man. Was you big into the Jackson 5 or no?
Everybody was. As a kid, yeah. The musicianship, the choreography.
Yeah.
All of that, yeah.
What was your favorite Jackson 5 tune?
Man. I don't know. There's so many.
Okay, what's your top 3? Jackson 5.
I don't.
Not Michael.
Go ahead.
Just Jackson 5.
Go ahead.
Mine would be The Love You Saved. That was probably my all-time favorite. Now I'm like you. It gets hard after that. ABC. I mean, I can't really say. I don't know. I liked ABC, but I didn't love ABC. I'm trying to think now. I Want You Back. That was probably number 2. The Love You Saved was definitely number 1. I Want You Back was number 2. And probably for me, number 3 was probably I'll Be There.
I have a Jackson 5 story. I was in Baton Rouge, and we was delivering a restaurant, and so we had to back down an alley that was really tight. So there's a restaurant called Walk-Ons that are here now, but they was only in Louisiana back then, and they had a live band there. And I'm backing the truck up, but I'm messing the driver up, my co-driver up, because there's clearly a white band on the back, clearly Caucasian singing, and they are playing the hell out of I Want You Back. It was so funky. It was so good. I'm dancing and guiding this truck back. He goes, "What the hell are you doing?" I said, "Say, man, they playing Jackson 5 over there, and them white boys are killing it over there." I'm talking. I mean, it was outstanding. I don't know if that band ever went anywhere. Surely they was a cover band, but they covered the hell out there. And it was all that and then some. And so that's how the influence of the Jackson 5, you know what I'm saying? That musicianship. Right. I couldn't see them because they probably wasn't dancing like that, but they was playing the hell out that song. So that's the type of thing right there that makes me think of the Jackson 5. That's why I'm speechless. You asked me top 3, and I'm like, my brain went numb because I'm like, man, there's so many Jackson 5 songs, and you grew up to that stuff.
Yeah.
And
did you ever see him in concert?
Personally, no. Not in person, no.
I mean, because I was in Dallas a couple times.
No, I didn't. By the time
I saw him as
a
kid in Buffalo, probably when I was about 6.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
And the only reason I think I went is tickets weren't the way tickets are now.
Yeah.
And I was a huge Michael Jackson fan, as was my mother. So I assume my father went, but I can't swear that he went. It could have just been me and my mother. Who knows? But I was there because for a long time we had, I don't know what happened to it. That's kind of sad, dog, because we had a program from that concert. And I remember it as recently as like 20 years ago, looking at it. Maybe 25, but since I've been an adult, I remember looking at it. But Lord knows where it is now. The last thing about the Jacksons is, it's interesting as you go back and look at the Jacksons. You had Michael was the star, Jackie was the eldest and the leader. Jermaine tried his best to be number 2 star, hitting that guitar. He had a few singles. Marlon was the dancer. And then Tito really just sat over there and did his thing on the guitar. And does anybody ever remember Tito ever saying anything? Because I don't. And then Randy, at a later date, as a young one, came on and joined the clan crew and used to do the drums a lot. So everybody had their role. Everybody did their thing. And so I think we talked about this once, man. Maybe it was last week, just as we had that season where, a lot of the people, athletes, musicians that you grew up listening to, loving, are dying now because, they just getting old. Frankie Beverly died the other day. And, how can you not hear a Frankie Beverly song and just start smiling for the most part? It's the bitter and the sweet. I call it the circle of life. It is a 12-letter cuss word, but it's something that, it's just part of the whole deal, bro. The other thing we wanted to get to, just briefly, is I woke up to this morning, man. I don't think I knew it was coming. But Sean, whatever, Combs, Puffy, P. Diddy, he got arrested. This morning, federal grand jury has indicted him on numerous charges. And his name popped up in the conversation we had with my family this weekend, my dad, my sister, just about Puffy. We're like, if he ain't left the country yet. Oh, here's the joke we were making, man. In the sense of this, like, everybody knows if you somebody like Puffy, Diddy, once they first say, once you find out the feds are investigating you, and they really investigating you, like they putting a case together, like they coming for you. We are, and you tell me what you think, dog. Anybody who reached the level that Diddy reached, they supposed to have in the backyard of their mansion, up under the doghouse, a duffel bag with like $500,000, $750,000 in cash, couple passports and a gun. And you're supposed to run, get that duffel bag, run to the private jet, and fly down to the Caymans before the feds can get you.
All of y'all watch too much TV. All of y'all watch too much damn TV.
Dog, that's what you supposed to do when the feds after you, man.
Where you going?
You just Cayman Island somewhere, man.
Where you going, you ain't gonna be recognized. Okay, so why Bill Cosby didn't do that? How come these guys get in trouble? Man, you ain't nowhere you can hide.
Then you supposed to have the money to get a plastic surgery, to change your facial structure, and change the most important thing is change the set of your eyes because that's how they recognize you with your eyes.
And hire John Wick as your bodyguard.
I mean, if you can.
Y'all watch too much damn TV. Nope. When the government wants your ass, You got. When the government asks you, when the FBI, whoever asks you questions, they already know the answer. Okay?
Oh, now I will tell you this.
So whatever, you ain't realistically, you ain't know where you can go.
This is my public service announcement to you. Because Joe raised a great point. This is just my public service announcement to you. He is absolutely 100% correct. And most people don't know this. The reason people really get hammered by the feds is when they first come talk to you, they say, hey, Mr. Taylor, were you here? And you go, nope. Hey, Mr. Taylor, were you there? You go, nope. Hey, Mr. Taylor, did you do this? You go, nope. And then they ask you about 40 questions. And then when they put the indictment, each one of them times you lied becomes a charge. And now that's when you get like 100,000 charges. And, now you got to plea and negotiate. And you don't really want the feds on you. But don't ever lie to the feds. It's better to say no comment than to lie to the feds.
How about don't do nothing to get involved with the feds in the first place?
Well, that's the next thing. Don't do nothing to get involved with the feds.
That's the first thing.
That's the first thing. The next thing is don't ever lie to the feds. You better just say nothing than to lie. Diddy's been charged with 3 counts: racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking by force, fraud or coercion, and transportation to engage in prostitution. So that's, you'll be hearing a lot more about it.
What's transportation to engage in? You giving somebody a ride?
I think so.
To get some?
Yeah. Now, as we just discussed, I think, and I ain't no law enforcement person, a lot of these charges, they throw the book at you. Every charge you ever, it's like when you get arrested and they say reckless driving and running a red light, and they got 27 charges. And you're like, I didn't even know these charges existed. And then you got to plea them down. It's just what they do. So don't get involved in anything like that if you can help it. I guess you can help it.
Yeah, you can help it.
Because ain't no future in it. I told Joe, now this is just one man's opinion. The way this thing is going, it's either he going to be like R. Kelly and just basically spend the rest of his days in the joint. Is that what they call it these days? In jail, in prison. Or he going to go like Epstein. He going to get caught and, it may be his own demise. But I think Diddy's days are a wrap. And that's, it's sad because you come from nothing, you build all this empire, and instead of taking advantage of it in a positive way and, just having the life that people dream of, apparently, he was drunk on fame and power and just wilded out for years. And now the chickens are coming home to roost.
Yeah, well, there you go. I mean, secrets ain't secret no more. People gonna tell.
My boy said a word right there. Secrets ain't secrets no more.
I mean, whatever. I mean, you stop taking care of people, or somebody ain't getting paid, or and there's too many podcasts and too many doggone. I mean, people are saying
everybody got a cell phone. And this and that.
Well, everybody got something that they gonna say something on, and then you say, that dude crazy, and then somebody else say the same thing, and it's a trail. I mean, how did he do Bill Cosby? It started out with a joke.
Yep.
Started out with a comedian making a joke. Then it ended up with a smoke that's fire, and all these people came out. You can't run.
No.
I mean, power corrupts.
Absolutely, power corrupts. Yeah. Absolutely.
There you go.
If you're interested, they got the documents on TMZ because they were released yesterday. So you can read all the documents about what he actually is alleged to have done. A lot of it is beyond heinous. Some of you have seen the videos that are out there that are easily to see when he attacked that young lady in the hotel. So, I think it's a wrap for Diddy. We'll see. But, that's life, man. When you wild out. It's a sad demise for something that didn't have to go like that. And clearly he didn't learn from other people. So, you get what you get.
See you.
But wouldn't want to be you.
See you, Sean.
And on that note, let's get up out of here, man. Hey, we appreciate you listening. We appreciate you checking out the YouTube channel. Remember to like, share, subscribe to the YouTube channel. We got Roy Williams' interview up. Content Dave is putting together the next interview. We'll fill you in on that later. But we still got 3 or 4 more episodes of season 1 of Jacques Talk One-on-One. You can always follow the show at The Real Jacques Talk on YouTube, The Real Jacques Talk on IG. You can hit me up on X, Twitter, at JJT Journalist. And then you can follow me on Clapper at I am Jean-Jacques Taylor. Until we chat again, for Big Joe and the Big Rig, you guys be blessed.